You guys are back in the old school. Hey guys, I'm the Retro Reject, and you're probably wondering, what Retro Reject, what are you doing in some random stranger's house, and who is this guy next to you? Well, first off, reaction to me pretending to be the audience. You have seen this guy before, just maybe with more facial hair this time. He was actually in the Lion King 2 movie review, and this is my best friend, Danny.
Yeah, hey everyone. And I actually have my YouTube channel of my own. It's called Imperium Magistrate, so if you're interested in history, you can check that out. But, I'm here because I wanted to help out Retro Reject with a new video series.
Yeah, so I've been long teasing this for a while, especially since I'm way past 200 subscribers now, and with the 200 subscriber milestone, I wanted to do a collaboration video, and of course it was going to be with my best friend, and I teased this in the MegaCon Part 2 video, where the video was going to be more along the lines of My Little Pony, but I didn't go into the extreme detail of what it was. And basically what I was planning on doing, I am going to plan on doing it, is that we're going to emulate something that me and Danny did in our childhoods, and that's what we like to call made-up episodes.
Yeah, basically, when we were in elementary school and, all the way up till basically high school, we would, do made-up episodes, and, we still come up with ideas here and then.
Yeah, so, like, whenever we hang out together, like, for example, now, we usually do made-up episodes.
Yeah,
yeah.
And we just generally reenact, episodes. But because there's two types of episodes we do. The first one is that we kind of, do the actual episodes of a television show like Teen Titans, but we insert ourselves into certain positions. And then there's ones where it's a complete, self-contained story with involving us. Sometimes even, revolving around us.
Yeah, so if I remember correctly, like, obviously me and Danny, we were best friends since kindergarten. We attended a school which was like K to all the way up to 8th grade. So me and Danny have been best friends for a long time. And originally, like, as Danny said, the first things how we first started out was just doing episodes where we inserted ourselves in them. And specifically the first series we ever did was SpongeBob SquarePants. So we would reenact the SpongeBob episodes, but insert ourselves into it and just add our witty dialogue into it, even trying to do our best impressions of the characters.
Yeah, and it's something we had a lot of fun with, and eventually we started expanding that into other shows that we watched at the time, like MLP and Teen Titans, and like Adventure Time. We did a lot of Adventure Time ones.
Yeah.
And it's like, on top of that, I also really liked it because I've always thought it's neat, like, because we were kind of creating our own, stories within these shows that we really, really like.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember exactly when was the first time we ever did, like, an official made-up episode, because we were doing SpongeBob episodes for a while, but I can't remember what series we started doing the actual made-up episodes. I know
it was probably Adventure Time.
Yeah, I think it was Adventure Time, but I can't. Was it around like 5th grade maybe? Because I'm trying to remember so hard on this because it was either you were the first one to ever come up with an idea where it was made up, and then once we did it, it just kind of clicked, and I was the one I feel like I was more the one who wanted to generate more of the ideas.
Yeah, like, it's definitely interesting. Like, you've come up with a lot of ideas, and, you send them to me. And, I mean, even with this first episode that we're going to do for YouTube, he's given me, this general idea, and I'm kind of focused on, kind of structuring the plot, if you will.
Yeah, essentially what this is going to become is that it's basically a reimagining of our MLP adventures. We're going to do episodes where it's going to be basically reenactments of the specific episodes and just inserting ourselves into them. But then there are going to be some episodes where we actually make up them. So the first episode is going to be generally made up, actually, because it's going to be our introductions to the main 6 cast, like Twilight Sparkle, Applejack, Fluttershy, Rainbow Dash, Pinkie Pie, Rarity. Right, so it's like just our interactions with them.
Yeah, and then we'll definitely expand it on to like the later seasons. I actually haven't watched a ton of the later seasons, to be honest. I think after like season 6, I kind of stopped watching, not for any specific reason. It just kind of fell off. But we definitely will be going through watching the series in its entirety. And then we'll just see how things develop, and maybe if we'll do like kind of different stories, because just generally from what I've read, some of the later seasons there were issues with it, and just from what I've seen, it does seem like it kind of started introducing like a ton of different concepts, like the new school and the students who are kind of, I guess they were supposed to be like the successors. Maybe we will incorporate those into the story. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll go in a completely different direction. But in general, it is open to just speculating, and maybe we'll do, like I said, maybe we'll do things where we're incorporated into the main story as like self-contained, or we'll just go completely our own separate storytelling.
Yeah. So I really hope you guys do enjoy it when this is actually made, because I'm gonna take so much time into us making these stories, and as well as that. Okay, I'm not going to be full on animating the actual episodes. I mean, maybe in the future, maybe they will be fully animated, but right now it's just out of the question. I cannot animate anything. So what's basically going to happen is that you're going to see like just still pictures where I've created drawings of what me and Danny look like in our My Little Pony forms, and you're basically just going to see still images pasted onto a background, and then just you're going to hear our dialogue over them.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of a YouTube reviewer I watched a while ago. He did basically the same thing, and that will definitely work with what we got. And over time, maybe if this keeps going well, we can get better animation software.
Yeah.
And just improve it. I did a little bit of animation work a while ago. I don't remember much of it, but it's definitely something that I hope we can continue working on, and just expanding it. And, keep going. And who knows? Maybe one day we'll start doing made-up episodes of other series that we watch, like Adventure Time and Teen Titans. Like those two are probably some of my favorite animated shows from my childhood, and just even today when I rewatch them.
Yeah. So like obviously now we delved into like what the concept is, but now me and Danny, we're just going to discuss like remembering the episodes that we did create, discussing like which ones were our favorites, which ones we remembered, like, and just even ones we disliked. And I want us to be like truly honest with each other of how even the ones we dislike, because there are some kind of ones that we made that were just like pretty bad.
Yeah, I'm going to be upfront. I really don't remember too many episodes, but two ones that I do remember vividly, which I guess would probably mean these are my favorite, were both Teen Titans ones.
Yeah.
I don't know, I've always felt like our Teen Titans made-up episodes were pretty good.
Yeah, and considering that those ones are the ones we usually do more often when we actually hang out, like those are the ones we usually have done most recently.
And with this episode, so these two, the first one was sort of The Apprentice, but with Christian becoming the apprentice rather than Robin.
Yeah. If you guys don't remember, in the original Teen Titans, there was a 2-part episode during the first season where the main villain of the season, Slade, he's teased that through the entire series, and he's hinting at some kind of big plan that's going to be created. And what it is that he basically hires Robin to become his own apprentice to do crimes for him. And the whole thing to keep him working with him is that he basically shot like these tiny microscopic bombs within the other Titans, so Robin is forced to do his bidding.
Otherwise, he will kill them.
Yeah, so this episode, like that episode, was just more because we wanted to insert ourselves into the plot, and like preferably because since I feel like I generally like being the main character more often in these stories, at least. I mean, I try to incorporate episodes where Danny is the main character, but usually those episodes are like most of the episodes I come up with are me as the main character, kind of as selfish as is. I kind of do feel bad about that, but yeah.
But that one I really liked. There's another Teen Titans one. I can't remember if it was the one with you and Raven or another one.
Yeah, because a lot of these episodes have some things in common where basically there are some episodes where, because we do like incorporating like some of our childhood crushes from the TV shows. Like obviously in Teen Titans, the crush for me was Raven, and I'm pretty sure it was for you too.
I actually don't remember much. I don't remember specifically, but like I said, yeah, that's definitely a part of it. Like even with MLP, like kind of embarrassing to admit, but my favorite's Rainbow Dash, and his is
Fluttershy.
And so
we love incorporating romances into the story.
And yeah, but in general, that's like I said, I really can't remember what the other Teen Titans episode was. And there are some episodes that we do are more silly, and some that are more serious.
Yeah.
Another one that we did very recently though, and this actually relates to MLP, and that's the Return of King Sombra, the Crystal Empire.
Yeah.
That one I felt was really good, and maybe we'll get to that in an actual animation form or not.
Yeah.
I definitely would like to do that.
Yeah. All right, so let's backtrack. So obviously, let's first start out with SpongeBob. Obviously, we never did any made-up episodes with SpongeBob, but we did reenact a lot of the episodes. And in fact, me and Danny, we could we basically remember the entire episodes basically by line. So
yeah. So
just obviously there's so many SpongeBob episodes, but maybe point out the ones that if you remember, the ones we enjoy doing, with just adding our dialogue into them.
Always my favorite one is doing the reenactments for the movie.
Oh, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. Yeah, that was because as I said, we would usually do these around lunchtime, but doing a whole movie within that time span was not just possible. So we had to do this over several times, and I think that just made it much more enjoyable to reach the end. It was like its own little journey, Ernie. So yeah, there's always those because since we usually redo episodes or the SpongeBob movie because we like them so much, and each time we did it, it was just a little bit different. So noteworthy parts from the SpongeBob SquarePants movie were the David Hasselhoff sequence. That was pretty funny because for some reason we were the same size as SpongeBob and Patrick, so we still wrote on David Hasselhoff in that scene.
Yeah, and they didn't really put much thought into why we're the same size, but then again we're humans underwater because we didn't make ourselves in fish characters. We were just humans existing underwater. Yeah, but it's SpongeBob. Murray and Barnacle Boy are humans, but they're both tiny.
Yeah. And also during
even sizes in the shows change. In one episode they're legitimately small and the size of or smaller than a regular sized pineapple. And in the other episode, when they go on land, they're the same size as we're the same size as seagulls.
Yeah.
And then there's also that episode where Sandy becomes a bullfrog rider.
Oh yeah.
He's riding a bullfrog. But I'm pretty sure I remember there being another episode where I don't remember exactly what it was, but they I could be mistaken for something else, but I feel I remember there being an episode where they interact with an actual bull or something, or an actual creature. I don't remember. I might be thinking of something else. But,
could it be the butterfly, the butterfly episode?
Oh, yeah, the butterfly. The butterfly is legitimately tiny.
Yeah.
Even though I feel
yeah, the butterfly would technically be a lot larger. Theoretically larger.
Yeah, Wormy was
a really tiny caterpillar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, size differences were definitely. We were kids. We didn't give that much thought into it.
Yeah.
Some other noteworthy segments. The scene where Mindy gives them the mustaches for the first time, interacting with Dennis, the bounty hunter. Was he? Was he a bounty hunter?
The cold-blooded killer.
He's a vicious, cold-blooded predator. The thug tug, that was always a fun one to do, especially because in the movie, we didn't act as childish as SpongeBob and Patrick. So in the bubble sequence, we were just we were kind of sort of emotionless. We didn't really give too much excitement over the thought of bubbles.
Yeah.
But in the scene with interacting with Mindy, giving the mustaches, Danny does the same thing with what SpongeBob does. He's you have been obsessed with Godzilla for over many years straight.
Yeah.
Right, and unlike what Mindy did was like put seaweed on SpongeBob and Patrick's face, I think she just put like animal hair on our faces.
Yeah, now we actually have facial hair.
Yeah, because now that we're men, we have facial hair. Now that we're men, I changed my underwear. Now that we're men, we got a manly flair. Yeah, that's another thing. We always did try to do like our best impressions of the characters.
Yeah, I can't really imitate anybody.
Yeah, I'm really more so the voice actor for them.
And can't wait to see us try to mimic female voices.
Oh, yeah, that is. I'll probably have to put like a cringe warning at the beginning of that.
And also, we're gonna have to like properly delegate each roles because like, especially when we do MLP, we always kind of like switch off. Sometimes even unintentional. But I mean, if we're recording it, like usually whenever we switch off, it's because like, you know, if you're voice Fluttershy, typically, you know, you don't want to be just talking to yourself.
Yeah.
But with recordings, you know, we'll be able to like stay consistent.
Yeah, we'll get into MLP just in a little bit, but like other SpongeBob episodes that come to mind that are like kind of my favorite ones do. I mean, obviously Frankendoodle, Pizza Delivery. Those are like episodes that like everybody seems to.
Krab, pizza.
Krusty Krab. Man, and that is
a lot of the earlier seasons were ones we did.
Yeah, 1, 2. I mean, not so as much 1, but like 2, 3, a little bit of 4. But then like a lot of people say like, oh, the bad seasons were like, why would we touch those? I mean, we still enjoyed doing them.
Yeah, I like the Sandcastle one.
Yeah, Sandcastle.
The Storm one.
Yeah, Pineapple Fever, where it's SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward get locked in the pineapple. The wrestling episode, that's another good one.
Yeah. I remember I like recorded it on TV and I watched it like 4 times.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, back then we were also big fans of like wrestling, like WWE.
Yeah, I try to keep up with it, just not as much anymore.
Yeah, and then of course, obviously later on, we kind of delved like the really later seasons that are like coming out nowadays. We don't really catch up with them like too much. Like it's just a common thing with any like childhood show.
Yeah, even with MLP, we kind of fell off like, I don't know, season whatever, like. And I've been meaning to rewatch or get through a lot of them. A lot of the later seasons, especially now. We're actually rewatching the early seasons of MLP.
Yeah, just to remind ourselves about it a little bit.
It's kind of hard because apparently Netflix's deal with Hasbro had expired.
Yeah, so they only have like 1 through 4.
Yeah, and I don't even think the other seasons are on Hulu. I think they have like season 7 and like that's it. They only have 1 season.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know if Hasbro is owned by Paramount or anything, or if they have any sort of deals. I know, like, you know, they're obviously still playing Power Rangers on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
So if I really had to guess, they're probably gonna. I really don't know. Maybe it's already been announced, but like, if I had to guess, they're probably gonna, you know, put like the MLP seasons on Paramount Plus or something. I actually think I might have heard that it might be going to HBO or not HBO, Hulu, but I could be wrong. So it is a bit of a hassle to get the later seasons.
Yeah, but we'll try to work with it. I mean, obviously, we'll explain more about like the MLP made up episodes later, because, but obviously, like there are some, like there were technically the bad episodes, like ones we didn't like, were just ones that we didn't watch too often, and we like only did them like once.
Splinter.
Yeah, Splinter.
Basically, the episodes of SpongeBob people really dislike.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, we at least did them like once or twice, but then kind of just never touched them again.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so like as we said, SpongeBob was the first ever series we ever done. So then transitioning, I believe the first ever made up episode we did was Adventure Time. So could you remember any Adventure Time episodes, like either made up or ones we just reenacted? Because I feel like the Adventure Time is definitely the one that's more fuzzy to my memory of ones we did.
I remember for me specifically, there's one where I went out with Marceline. She was kind of like my favorite character. So
yeah,
that one definitely. But yeah, there were a lot of Adventure Time episodes. I kind of wish I followed the later seasons a bit more, but I can't remember a ton of them. Like I said, I really don't remember a ton of these made-up episodes, to be honest, but
One that did stick out in my mind that I actually remember really, really well is it's one that you came up with, and it's basically the whole concept was that the future version of you and the past version of you like basically swap timelines. So the past version of you is in the present day, is during like the old Adventure Time stuff, and then the future you is in the past you is in the future. And basically the whole thing was that there was something called the Great Fire War, where basically Flame Princess was basically out at a conquest for the land of Oo, and basically, since I had a major crush on Princess Bubblegum at the time, I basically sided with her. So basically, they were able to wipe out the entire like fire, like the fire, like the not the Fire Nation. That's Avatar. The Flame Kingdom, basically. So then, the whole episode plays out where basically the past version of Danny is in the future, and he's trying to figure out everything. And I remember distinctly at the end, past version of Danny is able to create like another fire elemental, and I believe it was like just the young version of Flame Princess, and basically Princess Bubblegum and we kind of sort of adopt her, essentially, if I remember how that episode went, because we kind of mended our ways of just thinking of the Fire Kingdom. And then a future version of Danny, he's like trying to go full on out, trying to eliminate the Fire Kingdom because he only images them as like bad people.
Yeah, so definitely don't remember that one too well, and I think it'd be neat if we incorporate these ideas into MLP episodes.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of great stuff there for that.
Yeah, definitely like a lot of crossover. Like, because that's one thing we did. Like, sometimes we do episodes where like we cross over different dimensions. Like, I remember one episode we did was the MLP characters swapping. Well, not swapping, but like coming into the Teen Titans universe.
Yeah, and we even did that with your with your Godzilla characters.
Yeah, the Retro Reject crew, basically, where we did it both with MLP, and we kind of sort of started with Teen Titans, but we haven't been able to finish it yet. Mm-hmm. Like, definitely those are, like, the crossover ones are definitely a lot better.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of crossover, I remember one episode where the Fiona and Cake universe, like, we did one episode where we went into the Fiona and Cake universe, which is, if you remember from Adventure Time, Ice King creates this whole, like, fan fiction, basically, of gender bending all the Adventure Time characters. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I know a lot of the ones I disliked were from like more like my early on ideas, because I remember one episode, like, it was pretty bad in retrospect, is that it was the episode based off of was it Mortal Folly or like Mortal Recoils, like those two episodes where like Finn, Jake, me, and Danny were hunting after the Lich because he's been broken out of his Amber prison. And now we've explored it, we kind of differentiated later on, and I kind of prefer the more later versions. But basically in that first version, since I was still like a big Godzilla fan at the time, basically what happened is I had like a Mechagodzilla mech suit and I was battling the Lich. And essentially it's because since I like Princess Bubblegum so much, I sacrificed myself to save her, because since Ice King, like, he innocently dropped her into that vat of acid. So basically, in that first version, it was I fell into the vat of acid, got burned up severely, and then the aliens from Terror of Mechagodzilla, they were mind controlling me to do like these horrible things. So, but in later versions, it was just Finn, Jake, me. Well, because Jake was knocked out of the battle in that battle, but it was just basically Danny, I, and Finn. We were battling the Lich just as ourselves, and then with like no mech suit or anything, I sacrificed myself to save PB, and it's kind of follows the same plot as Mortal Recoil, where I get mind controlled by the Lich, so like no alien stuff going on.
Yeah, I also remember another Adventure Time episode when I become a vampire.
Oh yeah, that was another one we did.
But yeah, I'm also So we're also going to be open to like making things that might change the status quo, if you will. At least, I would definitely be open for that.
Now, this idea is going to kind of go into conjunction with the next category, which is obviously MLP, because that was the next series we did. But like one Adventure Time episode concept I remember creating was that it was either you or I created. I can't remember, but basically in the Adventure Time series, Princess Bubblegum and Danny never got along with each other. Because since Danny didn't like Princess Bubblegum as a character, so I remember one episode where basically they just went on this soul trekking journey because we sent them out in the middle of nowhere. So basically it was just Danny and Princess Bubblegum trying to get along as they're trying to make it back to the Candy Kingdom, basically.
Yeah, I remember there was a episode of another show, I can't remember which it was, but it was basically like that one.
Yeah, so then in conjunction, going into the next MLP episode, my shipping in MLP was Fluttershy because she is just my favorite pony. And
mine is, of course, Rainbow Dash.
Yeah, so...
literally, the whole reason I even watched MLP is because of that death battle between Rainbow and Starscream.
Shout out to Death Battle. Man, that's like a really old video they did.
Yeah, they've really stepped it up. I haven't watched a ton of the more recent episodes. I watch them occasionally still, but the more recent episodes, it's kind of crazy seeing the animation.
Yeah.
Like, I remember watching the RoboCop and the Terminator death battle.
Yeah.
And I forget if this was their first 3D CG animated. Because, like, all the other ones, there's, like, pixel animation.
Yeah.
And I forget if RoboCop versus Terminator was their first 3D CGI one, and I was, like, thinking, whoa, the animation is so good. Looking back, it's extremely rough. And, like, even a better one is, like, Godzilla versus Gamera.
Yeah,
and
Gamera.
Then, compare that to, what is it, the Dragon Zord versus the
Mechagodzilla 3.
Yeah. And like I said, it's like night and day, really. Like I said, when I saw Godzilla versus Gamera, I was like, wow, the animation's really improved.
Yeah.
And now looking back, comparing that to Kiru versus Dragon Zord, it's like, again, just an amazing step up. Even comparing that to, like, Red versus I think it was Red from Pokemon versus Tai from Digimon.
Yeah.
With Charizard versus Agumon.
Yeah.
And even comparing that and what is it? Voltron and Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And then comparing that to Dragon Zord versus Kiru. Like, to me, that battle will always be like the standard for the CGI fights.
Yes.
Another really good CGI fight I thought was actually Deathstroke versus Deadpool.
Yeah.
I think that one holds up a bit better than some of the older CG fights, but like, still, it's just really impressive to me how much the animation improved.
Yeah.
But like I said though, the main point is that's how I even got into MLP to begin with because of Rainbow versus Starscream.
Yeah.
They actually, and what's funny is they end up doing an actual crossover in the comics, in the Dark Horse comics. There's an actual crossover between classic Transformers and MLP.
Yeah, and this is kind of reminding me, like, from the Equestria Girls. That's another fun one we did because we're essentially humans in Equestria Girls, so we have to introduce Twilight to like what it's like being a human, so she's not as confused in that particular episode. And in the beginning, when they're still ponies, as Pinkie Pie is usually the random one, like they use a sound bite from Transformers, like they use her transforming.
Uh-huh.
But you also want to curl up in a teeny tiny ball and hide at the same time.
But anyway, as with the shippings, in the series, Discord kind of has a really, like, almost romantical relationship with Fluttershy. So one made-up episode I really enjoy is that me and Discord are fighting for Fluttershy's affection, and the other main six see this, so they send us out in the middle of nowhere to try to resolve our differences and make our way back to Ponyville. So that's like a really nice made-up episode we did. Any episodes you remember either disliking or liking?
The ones I've mentioned I liked, but don't remember anything else though. Really.
What about like then just like whenever it was just reenactments, like just plain old episodes that we liked from the regular seasons?
Again, it's been quite a while. since I've really watched any of the series, so I don't remember many of the show reenactments.
Usually, obviously the bigger events in the MLP or like just any of the series are usually the main talking points.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember Canterlot Wedding was a big thing.
Mm-hmm. I remember we also did like human episodes of them.
Oh yeah.
Even before that Equestrian Girls was a thing.
Yeah, it was just the MLP characters as like regular humans.
Mm-hmm. And remember those ones quite a bit. But yeah, don't really recall a lot of the episodes we did.
Yeah. And here's the thing, because obviously the next part is Teen Titans, but like there were other random things we did like within just like real world, because like when we were kids, Lemony Snicket's like series of unfortunate events was really like a thing because because in school we had to read books and then had to take a test on them through like the computer.
Yeah.
So one story that he usually likes doing is that he's like now the adopted father of the Blood Air Orphans.
Yeah.
And he's like.
It's like they hate me.
They really hate him.
I'm oblivious to it. They really like him.
Yeah.
And then I also think Count Olaf is actually a great guy.
Yeah. And then, so then other things that like randomly we did were like just random movies that we watched. Like I remember the Simpsons movie was a big one. That was always the funniest. Mm-hmm. Even though I think we were technically too young to even watch that movie. Like
it was PG-13.
Yeah, I mean PG-13, but we like watched it in middle school, like when we were like 10 or like 11.
Look, I mean PG-13 is like parental guidance, you know. Like parental guidance.
Yeah, but like they
recommended for 13 and up.
Yeah, but like there's cursing in that movie, and we say the curse.
Not super ton of cursing. I don't remember there being a ton of cursing. It's more some of the more like because the Simpsons. The whole thing with the Simpsons is like. Well, I mean, honestly, even like the Simpsons movie, a lot of people, the main criticism towards it was that they thought it kind of crossed the line. Because like with Simpsons, it always sort of towed that line of crassness. Like, it's a somewhat family-ish friendly show.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bit edgier than like, I don't know, Flintstones. But like, even Flintstones was, you know, it had a surprisingly lot of more edgy elements than people really give credit. But Simpsons, it always kind of towed that line. But with the Simpsons movie, they kind of completely went over it. Like,
the skateboarding.
Yeah, the skateboarding scene. Like there's another part I remember where like Marge is at this motel and these two cops walk up to her and they just start making out in the apartment, just completely out of nowhere. But I remember another part, or Homer flipping off everyone. That was another one where he jumped into quicksand. Or even like people like putting up the nooses. And honestly, that part kind of hurts the story because they say we won't hurt anyone else. We just want to kill Homer. Then like later on, they're planning on hanging everyone, including Maggie. They use a pacifier for. And like.
I'm afraid if I open the door, they'll kill Grandpa. I'm part of the mob.
Yeah, like so I like the Simpsons movie. I guess you could say was a bit more crass even for Simpsons standards. Like I even saw one person say it was like borderline Family Guy level humor. And like Family Guy was supposed to basically be the edgy Simpsons.
Yeah.
Like granted, it's gone way edgier, but like early, like I guess you could say when it's an early Family Guy, crass territory, like showing outright nudity. Granted, it's a little kid, but still showing outright nudity. Kind of having, I felt like there was at least like a little bit of gore. You know? Like I know there was the opening with Itchy and Scratchy. And, like, he explodes and like you see his guts, or when was it green or like
Hi everybody.
I was like at the beginning when I think it was Green Day.
Yeah, it was Green Day.
They destroy their barge and
they
murder them.
Yeah, there's like no repercussions, but that's like with any cartoon.
Yeah. I mean, but honestly, I really like the Simpsons movie. And, doing those episodes together was really fun.
Yeah, then obviously just other like random Disney movies. Like I remember I mean, I think we started it a little bit like you were Aladdin, you were replacing Aladdin, and I was the genie. So it was like just doing Aladdin, but with us in it as the main characters.
Yeah, kind of like what that one Family Guy episode was with Star Wars.
Yeah. So then moving on to the next category, I believe it was Teen Titans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So from the ones we previously mentioned, like the Apprentice inserting.
Oh yeah, I remember we did one with like Red Hood.
Oh yeah. Red Hood, because the whole thing in the series that it's been teased at a lot in the series that the character Red X from Teen Titans is actually Jason Todd.
And that's been the biggest fan theory.
Yeah.
Obviously the origins was that Robin disguised himself as Red X to get close to Slade, and then the character appears as his own with a new person with a suit. Appears and is acting sort of as an anti-hero, as sort of a rogue type, and we never learn who Red X is. Whether it's because the series just was ended prematurely, or if they even really had any ideas to go on with Red X. I think he appeared in like maybe 2 more episodes later. Point is we never learned who Red X was, but the biggest. And they even joke about this in the episode.
Yeah, Beast Boy pulls out like this whiteboard speculating who Red X could be.
I also love that because it references other shows. Like I think it referenced like Team Monkey Force or whatever, which where was his name? Greg Sipes. He was he did voiceover for that show. But yeah, one of them was also like how it said Robin's evil twin, and it looked like Scott Mendelson. The actor who does Robin with being bald and having his goatee. But yeah, one of them was Jason Todd, and that became one of the biggest fan theories. And it makes sense because like he certainly acted quite like Jason Todd as sort of a roguish character, basically as a PG version of Jason Todd.
Yeah.
As Red Hood, it's kind of difficult to do.
Yeah, like the whole series, like Slade is very iconically like in the comics he's portrayed as having like katanas or like just swords in general, but in the show he only has and guns, but he only has a bow staff.
I mean, like I said, it is a kids show, so they did. I think it was even rated Y7. I can't remember if it was Y7 or PG, TV PG. Point is, it was ultimately a kids show, so some of the more edgier stuff from the comics they obviously couldn't get away with. Although they did get away with some fairly edgier stuff, some fairly I
think that goes into another like the episode we did, Birthmark, the Raven episode where she's like. Like she has like the Marcus Scath, whatever it's called.
Yeah, from Trigon and all of that.
Basically,
and
the whole episode was just like Slade.
She envisions the future of the destruction.
So it was just more me trying to protect Raven from Slade, trying to get the Mark of Scath or whatever it was called on her, and she ends up near the end of the episode. She basically is like, she's very exposed, I would say.
Yeah, like he rips off the back of her suit and everything. And but yeah, and even then, like, point is it does go into some stuff, but obviously there was a limit to what they could actually get away with. Although I think that they could get away with a lot more back then than they would now.
Yeah.
Then again, Teen Titans Go gets away with blatant twerking, so who knows. But so Red X though, definitely was kind of like a PG Red Hood.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I personally think it would have been interesting because I always appreciated this about Teen Titans is that it did definitely divorce Robin from Batman and make him his own character. There were very few references to Batman.
Yeah, there's another thing. That's one of the funniest running jokes we do in these made-up episodes where Danny, he's imaging Robin as like the fun-going person, and he's always encouraging Robin to be that person again.
Yeah, and be like the typical Robin to Batman. And I was bringing up Batman a lot, and I like.
Yeah, and Danny really likes this because like I'm the one who normally like does the impression of Robin, and he's like, and I'm like, don't you ever mention that name in my presence.
Yeah, and and so it's like I'm always messing with Robin about that. I always remember like one episode where the Teen Titans break up and like I'm with Robin and I'm like, oh, we could finally be like Batman and Robin. With me being Batman, of course, and you Robin. And it's like, no, if anyone's gonna be Batman, it's gonna be me. I'm like, so you admit you want to be Batman? And yeah, so I've always liked that part. But I always liked the Teen Titans that they didn't really mention Batman a ton. But it definitely would have been interesting if they did have Jason Todd be Red X. and you'll have that tension there.
Yeah, so that whole episode was just kind of like, basically in that episode we confirmed that Jason Todd was Red X, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, some other obscure, like, another obscure one I remembered was that you and Raven switch bodies, kind of the Puppet King episode. The one where we got introduced to the Teen Titans it's like whenever the introduction episodes happen, those are always the longest and the fun ones we do. And speaking of the Origins episodes, like, so we redo that one, like I think we redid that one like a couple of times, and usually each time, like, however our heroes were portrayed were like a little bit different. Like each one of us kind of did the same thing. Like you were the one who was like kind of more, well, kind of let's kill people, like, and I'm the more.
And like also our powers change. Like sometimes I'm the Green Lantern, sometimes I'm my own identity.
Yeah, because at the beginning, like whenever we first did the Origins episode, I think I was more like, since I was a big fan of Ultraman at the time, I was somebody who was similar to Ultraman, and then he was somebody else. And then the second time we did it, I was more something, because since I'm a comic book nerd, and a series that I kind of recently got into was I think it was a Dark Horse comic. It's known by Ninjak, which is basically his design is like almost like a ninja. So I kind of based myself around him, but call myself Switchblade. Danny, I think one identity he made was like, for some reason I'm trying to remember, I think it was like a raccoon. Like it was like, reminded me a little bit of like Sly Cooper, if anybody remembers that video game.
Yeah.
But like he was still a human. And then the last time we did an episode, or like he had his own identity and then he transformed into the Green Lantern. I can't remember how it was done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I remember something, because like it specifically deals with Adventure Time, because I remember one special thing we did was essentially that it would have worked better if we did it within the Teen Titans universe, but like because I was the one who came up with the idea, is that Danny and I essentially became Batman and Robin within the Adventure Time universe, because like the Batcave was underneath the treehouse. Yeah, the treehouse. So there was that whole thing we did it within the the Adventure Time universe, where basically we were Batman and Robin for like one episode, and then introducing the Teen Titans, because I take the place of Robin. So then like it's revealed in an episode of the made-up episodes we do, is that somehow the Teen Titans survived the nuclear explosion that caused the creation of Ooh. So they think I'm like the Robin from their universe. So it was basically just Teen Titan episodes within Adventure Time. So in retrospect, it was kind of a bad idea. We should have just done it as a Teen Titans episode.
Yeah. But it's still fun nonetheless. And yeah, with these these series we're gonna do on YouTube, there's gonna be more structure to it.
Yeah.
Probably more of a plot. We have like a couple episodes that are like kind of overarching.
Yeah.
But yeah, just generally have some fun, doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to, like, because now I'm wanting to go into the category of, like, because obviously I can't remember any other, like, major ones, because I remember it's always SpongeBob, Teen Titans, MLP.
We did a couple regular shows.
Yeah, regular show, like, yeah, but those ones I can barely remember that we did regular show. It was usually just the reenactments of the episodes, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember any other ones.
Yeah, so now I just want to go into the category of, like, ones that we were wanting to do, like, essentially, because there are some concepts that we want to explore, or at least I want to explore, at least, because I know one of them I want to do is us entering the My Hero Academia universe.
We've done a little bit of it.
We did a crossover episode of Teen Titans and My Hero Academia, but like I just want to do it like plain us being inserted rather than any other like heroes.
I would have to rewatch some of the episodes.
Yeah, the thing is, on my phone I always have a list of like the ideas that we come up, like either that I come up with at least. So it's like I have a whole list devoted to Adventure Time episodes. I have a whole list devoted to MLP, Teen Titans. So I'm just going through that list right now, trying to see if there was anything, either from ones that we did, or just ones that I'm planning on doing in the future, maybe. Remember the movie night thing that we did where we did Adventure Time characters, putting them into like the Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
That was a really fun one to do as well, because like each character was their own thing.
Finn was
Luke Skywalker, I think.
Yeah, Jake was Han.
Actually, no, Finn was Luke.
Oh yeah.
Jake was Chewbacca.
Yeah.
I was Han Solo. Princess Bubblegum was Princess Leia.
Mm-hmm.
Danny was just some like a random important rebel soldier. Like he couldn't die throughout the series.
Yeah.
Ice King was Lando. The Lich was the Emperor. Marceline was Boba Fett, I think. And then Lumpy Space Princess was Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah. Who was Vader?
Finn's dad, I think.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was just super goofy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, I don't think there was like. I think it was just really Star Wars was the major one we did. I don't think there were like any other major like movies where we inserted those characters into them. Let's see. So another one that just I was reading off the list I remembered was an episode similar to Nevermore, which is the episode where Cyborg and Beast Boy go inside Raven's mind and they see her like different personalities, but instead it's me and Danny, because I can't remember, did you have like a thing for Raven too when you were a kid? Like was that a cartoon crush of yours? Because the whole thing was that like me and Danny kind of fight a little bit because we both have some kind of affection to Raven.
Yeah, I think I had a minor one for Raven.
Yeah. Yeah, so that episode just delved more into...
I think this episode is just me being narcissistic and just...
Yeah, just trying to...
like me.
Yeah. Yeah, so that episode was just like, we were going inside her mind just trying to see which one Raven liked more.
Yeah.
There's one concept that I did want to explore because, like, obviously in the later seasons of Adventure Time, it's confirmed that both Marceline and PB become a ship, essentially. So, like, obviously within our universe, we can make it however we want, but, like, one thing I wanted to explore was that, like, because in the series, I'm dating Princess Bubblegum. So one idea I wanted to explore was that, like, I'm having the feeling that Princess Bubblegum is kind of being very distant from me, and I'm just having the feeling that this relationship was not going to work out. So I wanted to introduce a new character who would be like a love interest to me, but like starting from a blank slate. It would be another princess called Lightning Princess, because you never hear about like a lightning elemental in Adventure Time.
Yeah. Anything else?
Let's see. The intro, like as I said, the introduction episode. So like the episode in Adventure Time where basically it explains how me and Danny survived the nuclear explosion that caused Ooze. So like that first episode before everything went to crap, essentially. Yeah, and so basically I just wanted to make this video to give you guys just a rundown of how the progress was going. I mean, it's still a long ways away from being completed, but I hope to have it out to you guys, and I really hope you guys enjoy what we have planned, because me and Danny, we certainly enjoy making these made-up episodes, or even just reenactments in general.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to be working on this too.
Yep, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, whatever the heck you want to do, and maybe check out Danny's channel.
Yeah, it's Imperium Magistrate, and like I said, it's based a lot on history. And I'm definitely going to be making a lot more content in the future.
Alright, and with that being said, the old school is out!